Hello, friends. How are you? I'm back here again. Um, I don't know if or sure people made a mistake. You tend to know people after the fact. You tend to understand people after the fact. Before the election, Adeleke was screaming, shouting, support, help, all this and that. They want to rig him out, this and that. Nigerians rallied around him. Osho people rallied around him. After he has been elected, a lot of rubbish is coming out of his mouth, together with his brother, his uncle or his niece or his cousin, Adeleke, Davido. Now, I come across a statement in an interview where Adeleke was asked, is there any agreement prior to the election between you and Tinubu or APC while you won the election and while all of a sudden the president called to congratulate you? Is there any prior agreement? Because Kayemo, the aviation minister, tweeted and said that agreement is agreement. So in that interview, he was asked, was there any prior agreement between you and Tinubu while you retain your seat? Why he did, he called you to congratulate, despite his cousin is also seeking for that particular seat. And from the quote, he said, please, I'm going to read it out. I'm going to post it. You're going to see it on the screen when I finish editing the video. When I post the video, you're going to see the caption there. And let me read it again so that word to word what he said, so that you guys, he was asked, and his response to that particular question was, I support Tinubu because he is a Yoruba man, not because of any agreement. Adeleke. Ethnicity. Oh, so when Tinubu was attacking you, trying to rig you out, using all the state machineries to make sure that you are defeated, are you not a Yoruba man? Is he not a Yoruba man? But he wants to get you out. Now, as soon as people have sacrificed their life, paid the ultimate price, killed, some of them are maimed, some of them even closed their businesses to put more time and effort to make sure you are re-elected. People sacrifice. Nigerians rallied around you, and then you won the election, and then you went to a national TV and said, I support Tinubu because he is a Yoruba man, not because of any agreement. Nigerians, you guys see ethnicity. I have a response. Just stand by and listen to my response to that particular quote. All right? So stand by and listen, follow me to that particular quote. My repudiation to that particular statement. We are now learning to know who they are by their utterances. And they say that by their fruit you shall know them. So Nigerians, just stand by, follow me, and listen to my response for my strong repudiation to that particular statement. Ethnicity in election. All right? Let's go. Governor Adeleke, your victory was won by the people, not by ethnicity. Governor Ademola Adeleke is entitled to support whichever president candidate he chooses in 2027. That is his democratic right. But his explanation for supporting President Bola Tinubu, particularly the statement that he is a Yoruba man, deserves a strong and respectful rebuke. Because if that is genuinely one of the reasons a sitting governor is endorsing a presidential candidate, then Nigeria have every right to ask, what happened to the principle that leadership should be based on competence, performance, character, and the national interest, not ethnicity? Governor Adeleke did not ask the people of Osho to help him win re-election because he was a Yoruba man. He asked them to support Ademola Adeleke. He appealed to workers. He appealed to families. He appealed to friends and supporters. He asked Nigerians to rally around his administrations and defend his mandate. And they did. Osho people did. Nigerians did. People stood with him because they believe his administration deserves another opportunity. Many supporters went beyond party politics and mobilized because they believe that the people of Osun, not political power brokers, should determine who governs the state. Now that the election has been won, Nigerians are hearing that one of the reasons for supporting President Tinubu is that he is a Yoruba man. That is deeply disappointing, and that is deeply disrespectful to millions of Nigerians who rally around you. If ethnicity becomes the standing order or the standard, where does Nigerians go from here? Imagine if every Nigerian politician adopt this principle. A northern governor says, I support the president because he is from the north. A southern politician says, I support my candidate because he is Igbo. A Christian politician says, I support him because he is a Christian. A Muslim politician says, I support him because he is a Muslim. Where does this leave Nigeria? We end up with a country where political loyalty is determined by who you are rather than what you can do for the people. That is precisely the kind of politics Nigeria must outgrow. Ethnicity. Governor Adeleke, you owe your supporters an explanation. There is nothing wrong with supporting President Tinubu. If Adeleke believes the president's economic policies and development agenda deserves another 4 years, he should make the case to the people. If he believes Tinubu infrastructure programs is transforming Nigeria, and Osun in particular, explain how. If he believes the reforms are working, present the evidence. If he believes another 4 years will benefit Osun State and Nigeria at large, convince Nigerians. Those are legitimate political arguments. But he is a Yoruba man is not a sufficient standard for choosing the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The president is not the president of Yoruba people. He is a president of Nigeria. And a governor's responsibility is not merely to his ethnic group, it is to all Nigerians. Think about the message this sends to the people who stood with you. This is where many supporters understandably feel betrayed. They rallied around Adeleke. They defended him. They campaigned for him. They asked people to vote for him. They believed they were defending democracy in Osun. And after the victory, they hear the governor endorse the incumbent president partly because he's a Yoruba man. That creates an uncomfortable question. Were the supporters being asked to defend Adeleke's mandate, or were they unknowingly helping to strengthen a broader political agenda they may not support? Adeleke has every right to change or develop his political positions. But his supporters also have every right to say, we supported you, we did not surrender our political conscience to you. A vote is not a lifetime contract. A supporter is not a political property. And a governor cannot assume that everyone who voted for him will automatically follow his presidential endorsement. The president ethnicity should be irrelevant to the performance question. President Tinubu should be judged on what his administration has done. Not because he's a Yoruba man, or not because he's an Igbo man, or not because he's a Hausa man, not because he's a Muslim, not because he is from the Southwest, or from the Southeast, or from the North, not because he belongs to APC. The same standard must apply to Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, Rabiu Kwankwaso, or any other presidential candidate. Competence should matter. Accountability should matter. Respect for the rule of law should matter. Respect for the citizens' rights should matter. Respect for each vote casted should matter. Character should matter. Integrity should matter. Security should matter. Economic performance should also matter. National unity should also be at the forefront and matters a lot. Respect for democratic institutions should also matter. The welfare of Nigerians should also matter. And the welfare of people who stood by you should also matter. Ethnicity should not be the deciding criterion for the leadership of a country of more than 200 people. And there is a contradiction worth examining. Friends, listen to me. There are contradictions worth examining. Governor Adeleke says his support is not based on a political agreement with the federal government. Fine. Beautiful. Excellent. If there is no agreement, Nigeria should accept that clarification. But if there is no political agreement and his support is genuinely based on performance and reforms, then why introduce ethnicity as one of the reasons? If Tinubu's record is strong enough to justify another 4 years, let the record speak for itself. Do not tell Nigerians, vote for him because he's a Yoruba man. Adeleke, tell Nigerians, vote for him because this is what he has achieved. This is where Nigeria is today, and this is what he will accomplish in another 4 years. Period. That is much stronger argument rather than ethnicity after you've won an election. Oshu's victory should have taught us something different. The recent election should remind Nigerian politicians that elections are ultimately about voters, not individuals. A governor cannot win an election merely because he shares an ethnicity with the people. A candidate needs votes, and those votes come from the citizens who have different religion, ethnicities, political beliefs, and personal interests. That is why politicians must be careful not to reduce electoral victories to ethnic victories. Osho people belongs to every Osho citizens, and Nigerians belongs to every Nigerian. The presidency belongs to every Nigerian. Governor Adeleke, you can support Tinubu, but make the right argument. If you believe President Tinubu deserves another 4 terms, campaign for him. Stand beside him. Defend his policies. Explain his achievement. Tell Nigerians why you believe another 4 years will be beneficial. But please do not reduce the most important political decisions Nigeria will ever make in 2027 to he is a Yoruba man. That is not the Nigeria we should be building today. And that is not the Nigeria we should be teaching our younger children coming up. We should be building a Nigeria where a Yoruba man can vote for an Igbo man candidate because he believes the candidate is competent. Where an Igbo man can vote for a Yoruba man candidate because he believes the candidate will govern well. Where a Muslim can vote for a Christian because of competence. Where a Christian can vote for a Muslim because of integrity. Where a Northerner can vote for a Southerner. Where a Southerner can vote for a Northerner. That is national unity. That is building cohesion and unity for the country. That is trusting on each other's beliefs for the survival of the country. Not every voting should be ethnicized. Not everyone voting for their own ethnicity. The greatest tribute Adeleke could pay to the people who supported him would be to remember that they stood with him because they believed their vote mattered. Therefore, he should respect their right to make their own decisions in 2027. He can support Tinubu. They can support Peter Obi. They can support Atiku. They can support Kwankwaso. They can support another candidate. That is democracy. Governor Adeleke's endorsement belongs to him. The people vote belongs to them. And ultimately, Nigerian future must not be determined by ethnicity and ethnic loyalty. It must be determined by competence, performance, integrity, accountability, and the national interest. So, Governor Adeleke, if President Tinubu deserves another 4 years, make the case on merit. Show Nigerians the results. Show them the reforms. Show them the developments. Show them why the next 4 years will be better than the last 4 years. But please, do not ask Nigerians to choose a president simply because he belongs to the same ethnic group. That is not building a nation. Nigeria deserves better than that. The question in 2027 should not be who is our own. It should be who is the best qualified to serve Nigeria. That is the standard every Nigerian politician, including the governor Adeleke, should be prepared to defend. I'm not coming to a national interview and say I supported him because he is a Yoruba man. That is insulting to the intelligence of Nigerians. That is insulting to the intelligence of people who stood by you. And that is dehumanizing for those who pay the ultimate price. Nigerians, I rest my case.